Alright, so what we're going to try to look at here is how well the SGM Tactical 12 round magazines work inside the Legion 030 type Saiga 12s, and we're going to have one of the 4 round magazines here for control that works out of the box. One of the problems that have been reported with the SGM magazines is they don't work with the last round bolt hold open lever. I had an issue with it previously that I actually had to remove the lever completely, but after looking at it a little bit more, I was able to modify the lever slightly and not only make it so the lever can stay in the gun, but also seems so that the lever will actually activate off of the SGM magazines, not just sit there and do nothing. So we're going to see first off if we can get a bit of a shot of the bolt hold open lever here. And as you can see, it is right down here. Now what I actually had to do was bend it slightly in towards the back of the magwell and then tweak it a bit to the left, and you'll see when it triggers the bolt hold open off of the SGM magazines why it had to be tweaked a bit to the left. Now I've got 2 different SGM magazines here. One of them works with pretty much everything. The other one's a bit sticky. SGM's great about sending their magazines back, and their customer service has been really nice to me over the phone and on email. So I might send one of them back just to see if I can get another one closer to this first one here that works with almost every round. So we're going to put this all back together and see what we can get out of it. Alright, now I've got a few different types of rounds we're going to be running through it, just because some of the cases are slightly different, mainly with the rims themselves. So we've got some Fiocchi number 5 shot, some Federal double buckshot, Winchester slugs, Rio Star slugs, Federal slugs, Remington slugs, some Winchester Ranger buckshot, and everybody's favorite, some Walmart bulk pack bird shot. So we're going to load a few of these up. I'm only doing 5 rounds at a time, simply because if it can roll the last 5 and it works, then it should work for pretty much everything else. So we're going to use the magazine here that I know works a bit better, just to see how well they can be. And we'll load 5 rounds in. Get this out of the way. Now, the bolt hold open actually is activated right now, so we just got to quick snap it in. And we'll see. Just load it in. I'm going to eject it down towards the table just so it doesn't go everywhere. As you can see, last round bolt hold open lever locked open. And I don't know if I can quite get a shot in it. Let's see if we can possibly get something in there. But you can see that the actual bolt hold open lever is activating off of the rear of the follower. I'll get a flashlight, it might work a little bit better. So there is the bolt hold open lever working off of the follower itself. Normally it would go down, I believe, in the shallow area next to the follower. But so it cycled Fiocchi rounds no problem. Moving along to some Winchester slugs. Excuse the random boredness of having to load these magazines a dozen times. So, and again, locked open. Last round bolt hole open, working great. So, Winchester slugs out of the way. Now, Rio Stars are pretty popular because they're relatively inexpensive, but in my opinion, are actually very nice ammunition overall. So, again, magazines in, and of course, lock back. So cycled everything through, perfectly fine. Now Federal, I've had a bit of an issue with on some of these, mainly with the buckshot. Slugs seem to work okay. The buckshot seems to have a slightly thicker rim that sticks a little bit with the SGM magazines. Works perfectly fine with the standard 4-round magazines that ship with the gun. You see how the slugs do. And again, locked open, everybody's happy. Let's see, we'll move on to some Federal bullet packs since people like to use these as a test. Probably some of the cheapest rounds you're going to find. Again, locked open, everything's working well. Now, a real big test, honestly, is the Federal buckshot. So we'll see how this stuff works. This magazine is the better of the two, so hopefully it'll run through these no problem. But it's been a little hit and miss. And there's the main issue. You can see what's happening here, if you can see it at all. The Federal round, let me actually just take this apart a bit. The Federal round is actually sticking a little bit with the bolt hold open lever, so it's actually not able to quite get past it. All the other rounds don't have a problem. For some reason, and if you push it a little bit, it'll pop open. These Federal buckshot rounds are the only ones I've actually had this issue with. Now, if we take a quick look, comparatively, the Federal buckshot rim and say a Rio Star rim, if I can sort of get this working here. The buckshot rim, I'll probably take a picture of this, but this rim here is actually quite a bit thicker and more of a taper to it, so those tend to cause a problem. Everything else seems to be working just fine. Now this second magazine tends to do that more with even other rounds as well. So there's a slight variance between these two. I think this one might just be more of a quality control issue. But as you can see, the magazines themselves cycle perfectly fine. And you actually can get it to work with the bolt hole open lever, leave it in place. So I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with it at this point. We'll see if I can get this number 2 mag working a bit more, or maybe just send it back to SGM and have them get me a new one. They've been more than willing to do so up to this point. So that should be it for now. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.